right, hello everyone. We're back for a reading and I'm keeping up my schedule. I don't know, this is the third week. I haven't been able to keep a schedule like this for a while, but I have stable housing for at least the next few months, for at least for this year. Um, they sent me a lease for at least, they sent me a renewal lease, but these people are cheating me out of the rent, so we'll see. Um, we're reading Black People's Prison Survival Guide by Abdullah Ibrahim. And I got this off of a podcast I was listening to. They had the link, and I got the PDF. And in true prison style, I have printed it out. If you want it, I'll make copies and give it to you. I've never done time, but as a black man growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, I know plenty of people who have. You'd be hard pressed to find a black man, or I should say a black person, particularly those who've been here, Tubman's babies, Harriet Tubman's babies, who don't know people from prison. But the reason why I say black men is because black women know people from prison, but they don't really deal with them too much. It's just kind of, oh, that's my brother's cousin. He did something and did some time. Don't give me the lying. It's that kind of attitude. But I actually know the stories and listen to the stories about, and have been since I was young, what prison was like. That's how I stayed out, actually listening to someone who went, and he was warning us and telling us the stories. Most of the young people that were listening to him thought it was fun what he was saying. I said, don't worry, I get you. So we're gonna read the section because I think this is gonna be I thought this was important. I think there's a section on time utilization. And let me just say before I start reading, I want to read this because if things keep going the way they are, if public policy stays the way it is, let me get some more light. There we go. If public policy stays the way it is, we will all find ourselves, or many of us will find ourselves in a prison or some kind of camp or shelter situation that mimics a prison. So we may need these lessons. So let's get into it. Time utilization. In doing time in prison, time is the essential factor. Our physical lives are measured by seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, and years. Time measures our physical lives. Therefore, we should begin to measure time and become time conscious. In this way, we can utilize our time in prison and work it out to our best advantage. If you look around the prison you are in, you will see a lot of time being squandered. Valuable hours of each day are being wasted senselessly in useless pursuits. There is no harm in recreation, but when entire days are spent playing board games, cards, basketball, and watching television, then priorities have to be questioned. An objective evaluation must be made of each and every activity that we engage in. We can determine if the activity is beneficial to us by its end result, if we actually benefit from it, and how much of our time is devoted to it. An hour game of cards or chess can be enjoyable and relaxing, but when these games last up to 4 or 5 hours, then it has become a waste of time. The same stands true of basketball. Don't dribble your life away. None of these recreational pursuits can change our lives or prepare us to be stronger men and women who can go out into the world to face life's challenges. The most senseless use of time in prison has to be constant television watching. There are adult men in prison who watch cartoons and soap operas for hours each day. They know all of the soap's characters, plots, and can figure all the possible scenarios of upcoming episodes. They live through the tube. They call television the boob tube because it will make you dumb if you aren't already. It's shameless. Naked images will poison your mind and spirit. Its fantasy will rob you of all original creative thinking abilities. Constant television watching develops the dangerous habit of always wanting to be entertained, which causes laziness. Television is a powerful tool of propaganda also, which is one of the 5 P's mentioned earlier. Television is dangerous to black people, especially children, because it will distort one's self-concept with its endless parade of white intellect, beauty, and white superheroes. You cannot find a better stamp of approval for the notion of white supremacy than television. For a thinking black person in general, television is a no-no. Cut out television for 1 month and you will be surprised at what you can get accomplished in that time. Knowing how to manage time properly is important in everyday life. When we learn to get the most out of our days, we will come to know a real sense of satisfaction and accomplishment. There are only 24 hours in a day. The more you begin to actually do, the clearer it becomes that there never is enough time to get things done. Then you will understand the value of time. This is pretty heavy, but then it's pretty simple too. Okay, back to the reading. Here are some suggestions for successful time management. Develop the habit of getting up early. This can be a plus. All that is needed is an alarm clock and a little willpower. Thinking of getting up early as getting a jump on the competition. When the rest of the world is just waking, you'll be up, cleaned, groomed, dressed, and already in full motion. Begin to make daily schedules. I can't seem to get up at the right time. I'm up all night and can't. Sleep schedule's all off. Begin to make daily schedules. Think of yourself as someone who with a lot to do but limited time. At night before going to bed, list all you want to do the next day. Keep this list with you and check off things as you do them during the day. Review the list at night and see what you didn't get done. Put what you didn't do on the list for the next day. Set short-term and long-term goals. Goals are objectives, and life doesn't have much purpose without them. In order to attain your goal, you must formulate a plan. For instance, your short-term goal may be to get a GED in 6 months. Your plan to obtain the goal would be to study for a couple of hours a day. Beyond this, your long-term goal could be to earn an associate's degree in 2 years. As your plan, you would set a pace for your classes in that 2-year period of time, and that's provided that the state is offering any of these programs. Of course, in your prison, you live in a context, but we always forget that you live in a context. Not that he's forgetting that, but just wanted to add that in. Our time in prison should not be wasted. It is time in our lives. This is the best time that we can possibly have developed ourselves in all ways. We're being fed, clothed, and housed. In my case, warehoused. In all cases, warehoused. There are no bills to pay, no job to go to. To gain as much knowledge, awareness, and skills as we can should be our primary objective. If the racist system has given you a lot of time, then you should leave prison with a college degree or several good skills. Get the best out of the situation and don't let the situation get the best out of you. This is how to beat the system and walk away ahead of things. You can do all of this by learning how to use time effectively. People always used to say that. Do your time, don't let the time do you. One of the things I've been saying for decades is the black community is going to have to deal with this reality. And this is for the black community that's out, that's free, that's outside the wall. Why is prison the only place where black men can create institutions and unity that are actually effective? They gather together. They create institutions in there. They create organizations in there. They organize. They unify. Black men do a lot of things in prison, and when they come home, there's no space for them to do those things. And the reason why this is troubling is because if prison is the only space where black men can organize at the high level and get things done, then it says that, and this is not true, but it makes it seem as if black people do better in bondage. And there's a whole group of people pushing the concept, and I read this when I was in South Carolina on campus. Some group was is on the campus of USC. I can't remember the name of the group, but I know I read in the magazine about some group that was saying this in an essay that black people actually did better under bondage. Now we know it's BS. We know it's BS. But that ever since I read that article, it always made me, well, it made me think about this before then, but it always made me think, well, damn, man, there's people out there saying this, and then from the outside, just from the surface, it looks like it's true. So I always say, here's the deal. From the outside looking in, I've never done time. I don't know what it's like, but I do know this: it's hell. From what people tell me, Mumia Abu-Jamal says it's hell. Every person I know says it's hell. So if black men have the space in hell to create organization, and they don't have the space here when they're free, what is that saying about quote unquote freedom? That's one thing, but that's an issue for us. What I was always thinking is maybe we can start doing things like writing letters again instead of phone calls, because I know phone calls are very expensive. Text messages are very expensive. Sometimes they can get a phone. Putting money on their books is very expensive. That they need. But maybe some of the things like the phone calls and some of the extra things, we can cut down and put that money aside for when they come home. And if you're spending $100 a month on phone calls, maybe spend $50 and put $50 aside. And over time, put it in an account. Don't put it under your mattress. When they come home, at least they have some resources they can pull from. Maybe create a corporation for them to be a part of, so that they have something to run when they come out. These are the things I think we need to think about. And I don't know if it'll work or not. It's just something I always thought. And so maybe that's something, if you know someone's doing time, or something that you can think about. By the way, we're all going to have to create LLCs to work now anyway. That's just the reality of our time. I'm on so many platforms with my LLC. Speaking of, I have to do the spreadsheet for it, because the end of the year is coming, to update my spreadsheet so I can hand it in to my accountant tax time. We have 2 corporations that we run. So That's just the way it is. You're going to be self-employed. And if you're self-employed and don't make ends meet, the state, especially if you're black, is obligated to subsidize you. One of the biggest lies that black people are told is nobody owes you nothing. That's a damn lie. Legally, from Lincoln on, they owed us something. They owed us for all the work that we did. They didn't pay that. They owe us for the redlining. They owe us for the discrimination in the workplace. They owe us for the cheating us out of our New Deal money and resources. They owe us for cheating us out of our GI Bill resources. They owe us for all of these things. The state blocked us from becoming fully developed human beings. And so the state owes us. So when someone tells you, oh, nobody owes you nothing in this world, just kind of look at them and nod. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's what you think, and back away. These people don't know anything, or they're lying to you. Either way, you don't need to be bothered with that. I'll come back Wednesday for another reading if I'm still on this side of the ground. And until next time, please take care. Please be safe. And if you want to support the podcast, you want to support the video, click the link. Give donation directly, become a sponsor. Until next time, take care and be safe.